Welcome to today's explainer. Look, if you're an executive buyer, an importer, or a wholesale distributor, you already know the harsh reality of today's market. Retail and food service margins, they are incredibly tight right now. You're constantly trying to balance the soaring demand for premium product quality with the absolute, non-negotiable necessity of keeping your procurement costs manageable. And when it comes to importing a massive staple like premium basmati rice, getting that delicate balance wrong it can completely tank your bottom line.
So that brings us to the core procurement challenge that business owners and supply chain managers are wrestling with literally every day. What is the absolute best wholesale solution for importing basmati into the USA? How do you actually secure a direct-from-factory partner that cuts out all the noise, protects your precious margins, and consistently delivers on quality, shipment after shipment?
If you've been in this game for a while, I bet these pain points are all too familiar. You lock in a contract, everything seems great. But then out of nowhere, the supplier changes the grain specifications between shipments. Or even worse, your export documents are just riddled with inconsistencies, leaving your containers stranded at customs. Throw in unstable shipping schedules during peak export seasons, and those incredibly heavy intermediary markups, and your supply chain efficiency absolutely plummets. It's a nightmare.
So here's our data-driven roadmap to actually solving these problems today. We're going to cover 1. The US Basmati boom, 2. 1121 versus Super Kernel, 3. The AHK Rice advantage, 4. Quality control and processing, 5. Shipping and FDA compliance, and 6. Starting your procurement journey. All right, let's dive right into Section 1, the US Basmati boom.
The United States has rapidly, and I mean rapidly, become one of the fastest-growing premium markets for Pakistani Basmati rice. During the 2024 to 2025 financial period, we saw a massive, undeniable increase in North American demand. And this surge, it's being driven directly by growing South Asian communities, the rapid expansion of halal grocery stores, mainstream supermarkets finally expanding their ethnic aisles, and booming restaurant and food service distributors. The demand is absolutely there, but capturing it requires having exactly the right product on hand.
Which perfectly tees up Section 2, 1121 versus Super Kernel.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how your strategic product choices have to shift entirely based on your target demographic. You're actually targeting completely different consumer segments depending on the exact grain you choose. 1121 Basmati absolutely dominates premium supermarkets, fine dining establishments, and private label brands, mostly because of its highly elegant appearance. On the flip side, Super Kernel Basmati is the undisputed reigning champion in ethnic grocery stores and traditional restaurants. Why? Because those consumers prioritize a rich traditional aroma and a much softer cooking texture over sheer length. Let's talk hard numbers, because I know you buyers out there crave the actual data. When we compare the Steam varieties, 1121 boasts an extra long grain length of 8.30 millimeters or more, compared to Super Kernel's 7.00 to 740 millimeters. 1121 also gives you a much tighter broken ratio. We're talking 2 to 5%, and an incredible 2.2 times expansion when cooked. Both varieties, of course, maintain a strict 12% maximum moisture level. Look, these aren't just arbitrary numbers. These exact specs are exactly why 1121 commands that premium shelf presentation and price point.
And hey, here is a really crucial insider tip for you. If you're a restaurant distributor who's forced to hold inventory in hot warehouses, and we're talking sweltering temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius, 1121 Golden Sella is your absolute go-to. Its parboiled processing gives it vastly superior texture stability. It literally won't soften as fast during prolonged holding periods, making it an absolute lifesaver for both long warehouse storage and massive large-scale catering buffets.
Let's transition into Section 3 and start talking solutions, the AHK Rice advantage.
Okay, so the million-dollar question is how you actually procure this rice without bleeding your margins out to multiple brokers along the way. Well, AHK Rice operates as an end-to-end factory direct partner. By sourcing directly from them, you lock in factory direct FOB Karachi pricing. You also get perfectly stable grain specifications batch after batch, export-grade quality control all under one roof. And they even offer highly flexible private label packaging. By going this route, you are completely removing all those unnecessary margin-eating intermediaries from your supply chain.
Moving right along to Section 4, quality control and processing.
Major retail chains will absolutely reject your containers if the grain appearance randomly changes between batches. It's a huge risk. AHK Rice prevents that dreaded rejection through a rigorously structured processing workflow. First, the raw patty is meticulously cleaned and carefully dehusked. Then, it's polished and precisely graded by grain length. Step 3 brings in advanced electronic color sorting to hunt down and remove any defective kernels. Finally, it endures strict moisture and aroma testing, plus an actual physical cooking analysis. This ensures every single container that leaves that facility meets strict USA retail standards.
Transparency is the backbone of any good wholesale partnership, right? So let's talk about what actually impacts your money. Your FOB Karachi pricing isn't just pulled out of thin air. It's based on very specific measurable variables. A longer grain length and a lower broken ratio will naturally result in a higher FOB price simply because of the advanced, time-consuming sorting required. Implementing private label packaging or opting for Golden Sella, which requires extra parboiling steps, will also bump up your costs. Understanding exactly how these factors work builds immense trust and frankly helps you forecast your budgets way more accurately.
Let's move to a true make-or-break topic in Section 5, shipping and FDA compliance.
So once your premium rice is perfectly milled and packed, what's the actual timeline from Karachi port? Well, on average, you're looking at 30 to 38 days of ocean transit to New York, and about 38 to 48 days if you're heading to Los Angeles. Keep in mind, inland routing to places like Chicago can push that timeline up to 50 days. Planning your inventory around these verified, realistic timelines, especially before Ramadan or those massive year-end retail rushes, is absolutely critical to keeping your shelves stocked.
Now, obviously, a fast shipping time doesn't mean a thing if your container gets held up by customs because of sloppy paperwork. To prevent this, AHK Rice provides an exhaustive, completely standardized list of export documents for every shipment. You get everything you need: the commercial invoice, packing list, and bill of lading, sitting right alongside vital health clearances like phytosanitary and fumigation certificates, plus those essential FDA-related shipment support documents. This exact level of standardized, rigorous compliance is what prevents those devastatingly costly container release delays at U.S. ports.
When it comes to optimizing your freight spend, truly understanding container capacities is key. When you're mapping out your orders, a standard 20-foot container will typically hold 24 to 26 metric tons of rice. A larger 40-foot container holds 26 to 28 metric tons. By factoring in these precise capacities, buyers can effectively calculate and drastically optimize their freight costs per metric ton. Sometimes buyers even mix retail and food service grades within one single shipment just to maximize that spatial efficiency.
Finally, let's look at Section 6, starting your procurement journey.
To make this as seamless as possible, AHK Rice has created a very low-risk, highly structured onboarding process. Step 1. You clearly define your target grade and request the specs, photos, and videos. Step 2, and honestly, this is the most vital part, they send physical courier samples directly to you so you can validate the cooking results with your team in your own test kitchen. Only after you have physically approved that exact sample do you move to Step 3, confirming the FOB quotation. And finally, Step 4 is finalizing that production schedule and dispatching your containers.
Now, to get those physical samples rushed into your hands, the courier costs are fully transparent, typically ranging from $45 to $120 depending on your destination state. But here is the absolute best part. AHK Rice actually deducts these approved sample expenses straight from your larger confirmed wholesale order. It's just a completely transparent, partner-focused way to ensure you know exactly what you are buying before you ever commit to a full, multi-ton container.
Which leaves us with one final, very important thought today. The market is shifting rapidly. Consumer demand is climbing, and relying on fragmented suppliers with wildly inconsistent quality is a liability you simply can no longer afford. So I have to ask, are you ready to secure a direct-from-factory, completely risk-free basmati supply chain before the next peak export season hits? Because taking that step, it might just be the most important, profitable procurement upgrade your business makes this entire year.